that acquisition executive is getting content and procuring and curating content that reflects the overall programming strategy.
The brand of the network.
Well, it's different than the brand.
Okay.
There is the brand, but then there's a strategy of how are we going to execute and bring this brand forward. So our strategy is, we're going to take a certain type of content and position it on the network in a certain way that puts forth a certain feeling and a certain viewing experience and a certain identity for who we are. And usually once you have your acquisitions, I'll take a couple of networks as examples.
Okay.
Once you have your acquisitions, you can have, I'll give you two examples.
Okay.
Example for TNT and an example for AMC. And let's throw in FX for good effect.
Okay.
I'm going to go back several years.
Okay.
All three of those networks were networks that had a lot of movies on them, right?
Mm-hmm.
AMC had really, really great movies. TNT had great movies. And FX had great movies. So how does a viewer decide, well, what are these networks about? And why do I give my attention to AMC versus TNT versus FX?
Okay.
Well, when you get to the point where you have, your slate is full and you just have movie after movie after movie, there's a certain types, right? So you'll notice that a lot of content on TNT kind of leaned toward Law and Order type content.
Yes.
A lot of content on FX was very, really edgy, right? And a lot of content on AMC was just really, really good quality content, right?
Okay.
That was where in the early 2000s you would see after content had gone through premium and pay cable, it would come to basic cable, you would find it on AMC, you'd find it on FX. There would be some of the first places that you'd see The Matrix or any of the really really good looking content, and as those networks grew and they determined, okay, who are we going to be when we start launching our original content, further brand and differentiate ourselves, then those determinations are made based on what their overall program strategy is. So you go to TNT and you see that they're Law and Order. They acquire Law and Order. They start making original shows that are in their Law and Order space.
I see.
You take a look at an FX. They're very edgy. They acquire something. They have an original show called The Shield.
That's
very
right.
edgy character, nip tuck edgy characters. People that basically building their original programming slate at that time and brand and strategy based on hostile personalities.
I see.
People who think that the rules don't apply to them. So all of their originals start to kind of reflect that. And that's the filter that they start creating from and they start developing from. And you look at AMC, and at that time, I think the president at the time was Chris Collier. And I hope I have his last name correct. What he had said at that time was, whatever we do in the original space, whatever it does, it has to be able to visually stand up against anything that we have in the library, be it The Matrix, be it The Godfather, whatever is in this amazing slate of original of acquisitions that we have. When we venture into the original space, visually, storytelling standpoint, it's got to stand up to it. So they took some early overtures with something. They had a stunt called Broken Trails.
Mm-hmm.
They realized that a lot of their viewers were older white male demographic. Mm-hmm. So they created a stunt called Broken Trails, and they did really well. And they saw that was the demographic that showed up for it. So what else would this viewing demographic like? Maybe they like something in the advertising space set back in the 50s and 60s.
Oh, I see where you're going.
And along comes Mad Men.
Oh, I see.
So you start looking from an acquisition standpoint, you put that content out there, you see what people respond to. That informs your decision and your direction as it relates to when you step into your original content space.